It's your boy, Mario. And we back at it again with another reaction, man. I'm not finna do too much talking today, man. But today we got a special treat for y'all. We got a story, like a little story times of why Larry Bird is better than Kevin Durant and LeBron James. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, man. Hopefully that become one of y'all favorite reactors. Let's get straight into this video.
Larry Bird was the baddest son of gun on the planet. He's one of the greatest shooters ever.
You want to put against Jordan? You want to bring LeBron in? He was better than all the black guys I know.
When you talk about greatest players of all time, Larry Bird's going to be mentioned.
Larry Bird was a bad man. No question. I would dare say he'd probably be number 2 for me.
Damn.
But he ain't number 1 above LeBron James. And here's why. He was never the total package. He could pass the ball very well. So could LeBron. LeBron could play 4 different positions. You could make the argument that Bird could have. I would tell you, yes, offensively, not defensively. Larry Bird wasn't in the same stratosphere as LeBron James defensively. And even though I'm not sitting there and looking at Bird and saying, he's some scrub, he didn't care about defense, I would never say that about him. He wasn't on the same planet as LeBron James. He didn't have his athleticism. He didn't have his speed. He didn't have his agility. He didn't have his ability to guard any position the way LeBron James does. Offensively, although LeBron delivers it differently, he still delivers numbers that exceed Bird's. And that's what you have to take into consideration. Bird, career 24-point per game score, 49% shooting, 37% from three-point range. LeBron James at 26-27 a game, similar numbers, okay? I'm looking at it, and I'm saying, Skip, you would have had this argument dead to rights if LeBron didn't have any titles. Even though he's lost in the finals, so did Bird. Now, Bird lost to Magic, okay, and we understand that. But the point is, Bird has lost in an NBA Finals. LeBron has lost in the NBA Finals. Bird has 3 rings. Bird has 3 league MVPs. LeBron has 4. So we have to look at this skill set. And I'm telling you, if you need a shooter, I'm going with Bird. If you need somebody that's clutch money, I'm going with Bird because I know that Bird's a better shooter. Just like Kobe's a better shooter than LeBron. When you talk about the total game, all facets taken into consideration, LeBron James is the greatest small forward of all time.
There is no way that right now LeBron James is better than Larry Bird was. Larry Bird was a much better shooter than LeBron James. Larry Bird was as good a passer as LeBron. And you know how high a regard I have for LeBron's point guard skills. But Larry Bird could play point forward with anybody at any level in any era. Even though I'm going to give you that LeBron is a better all-around defender, Larry Bird was very underrated as a defensive disruptor, as a stealer of the basketball. Averaged about 2 steals a game for his career and wound up 31st all-time in NBA steals. And for a small forward, that is high. And you do remember what happened at the end of Game 5 against the Pistons in the '88 Eastern Conference Finals. Bird steals the ball. I don't need to get into that anymore.
Thomas wants to get it in quickly. Does to Lambist.
Hustle. Play hustle. That's a great play. That should be a great one of the greatest plays.
Larry Bird was right there with Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson in mental toughness and leadership, which gives him a huge intangibles advantage over LeBron James. There is no way that Larry Bird would have ever suffered the meltdown that LeBron did in the 2011 NBA Finals against the Dallas Mavericks. Right here, right now, Larry Bird remains the greatest small forward ever, period.
What y'all think about that? Who y'all think really the greatest small forward?
I am not going to call ESPN and demand that you get drug tested. If you mention Larry Bird, he's in the discussion. Considering the fact that this dude is a 3-time champion and a 3-time league MVP, one of the greatest shooters that I've ever seen, had a heart. Listen, Julius Erving didn't punch him in the face for nothing. You understand? He was talking junk to Julius Erving. This is what I'm going to do to you, and here's how I am going to do it. And there are plenty of players in NBA history who will tell you just that. Ask Dominique Wilkins. But he ain't number 1 above LeBron James.
I think LeBron would beat Larry Bird in one-on-one. I think LeBron is better than Bird, but I think Bird is clearly a top 10 player of all time. Robin, for some reason, maybe because Bird was beating him, He don't like Larry Bird. And you remember, Ephraim, when Detroit met Boston in the Eastern Conference.
They saying
Finals in
LeBron better than
1987,
Bird. How y'all
Boston
feel
beat
about
him
that,
in 7
OGs?
games. After the 7th game, that's when Rodman said Bird is overrated. Basically, that he's getting all of these accolades and all of this love because he's white. And if he was black, he'd just be kind of another player. Moments earlier, Bird had just dropped 37 points, 9 assists, and 9 rebounds on Rodman.
Insane,
I
man.
think he is out of his mind. Larry Bird, if he played today, Ephraim, might be better than in his day. Because he'd be shooting more three-pointers, and he's one of the greatest shooters ever. He was a phenomenal player, and I think people...
Tremendous passer as well.
I think he was a better passer than LeBron. The year before he got to Boston, they won 29 games. He goes there, and they win 61. And then the next year, they win the championship. Nikola Jokic just reminds me, now their games are somewhat different, but he's like a 7-foot Larry Bird because not fast, not, jumping high, but a great shooter, not as good as Bird, but still a great shooter, great passer, great rebounder. Bird was a great rebounder.
LeBron James is a better player in his prime than Larry Bird. Larry Bird, by far, the better shooter. So I'm not saying
that's better shooter.
Okay, he's a better shooter.
You want to put on the list? Passer?
I give the answer to LeBron personally.
There's one guy in NBA history that averages 24 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists for his career.
And I can name you like 30 things that LeBron does that Larry hasn't done in terms of
defensively. I'll give you LeBron as a one-on-one defender. Larry Bird was a pretty good team defender.
He was a team defender, but LeBron's a lockdown defender, which Bird never was.
You want to go intangibles? Basketball IQ.
LeBron's pretty high.
So is Larry Bird.
Okay, even at best.
Mental toughness.
Larry,
Killer instinct.
It wasn't a shot that Larry didn't think he could.
Who you want with the ball with the game on the line?
Can go to the rim? LeBron.
I didn't ask you about going to the rim. I said, who you want the ball with the game on the line?
Because LeBron will get an easier shot. Better transition player. Better
Do you even watch basketball, lady?
Nobody else can go to the bucket like LeBron can.
Athletically,
He's not even that clutch. I love
That's
Bird.
more than athletic.
We're talking about basketball skills and intangibles. And if you give me both these guys and you say you can start your team with either Larry Bird or LeBron James, I'm taking Larry Bird and I'm taking my chances. Thank you very much.
You know why? Because LeBron, as he proved in Cleveland, he could go to the finals with virtually nothing around him. You have this guy on your team that is 50
I never thought I'd see the day. I never
That's
thought I'd
50
see the day
wins.
when you become a prisoner in the moment. I love LeBron.
A moment he's been dominating since he got in the league.
Yeah, he hasn't dominated the league that Larry Bird dominated. You mentioned it off the top.
Yes.
Larry Bird was the baddest son of a gun on the planet.
And
In a league with Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Dr. J.
You're telling me LeBron would not be a top 5 player back then?
What you been talking about, like Bill Laimbeer? He might have been a top 5 player. He was the best player in the world when the NBA was at a greater level. It ain't the same NBA. This sucker won 3 straight MVPs.
Let me ask you this. Would Larry Bird be the best player in the world right now?
I believe he would.
Oh, he'd be better than Kevin Durant.
I believe he would. Yes,
No, he wouldn't.
I believe he
No, he
would.
wouldn't.
I believe he would.
Good luck with that.
Okay,
Because Kevin Durant is almost close to being where Larry Bird was right now. As good a shooter, right?
That's the standard that he's reaching for right now.
Okay,
Larry
just
Bird, if his back didn't give out on him, if he didn't have surgery, if his body didn't fail him, we're having a whole different conversation about Larry Legend. I'm sorry. He had it all. I just told you. He was a 24, 10, and 6. That's all there is to it.
Okay, and
I know there are other numbers.
35, 7, and 8 guys.
And I know there are other numbers since when? I know there are other numbers that will support you on LeBron. I get that. In terms of I get it. I may lose this.
Second all time to only who? Michael Jordan.
I may lose this, but you know what? I'm going with these. All 4 of them. And I'll watch that dude dominate an era that has some of the greatest players of all time playing.
I love Larry
And LeBron's right there. He may eventually pass. You always say this. Sometimes we're too stubborn when it comes to changing over time. So I give you credit for saying, you know what? Maybe it's time to appreciate what we're seeing now. This isn't a diss on LeBron. I'm not dissing LeBron. I love LeBron. We both love LeBron. Everybody appreciates how great he was. But as time passes, it's easy to forget how great Larry Bird was.
No, this is not, and I guess for the other disclaimer, this is not me forgetting how good Larry Bird was. Again, I have him on my Mount Rushmore because of not only the type of player he was, but him and Magic collectively bringing the NBA out of that tank.
He was better than Magic Johnson.
And
Larry Bird was on LeBron's Mount Rushmore.
As I said, if you put Larry Bird in today, I guarantee you, while he may be one of the best players in the league, it's not as definitive as if you put LeBron back in his era.
Wow. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all want to see next. And let me know in the comments how y'all feel about this. Like, y'all let me just spam with how y'all feel and everything. I appreciate y'all, man, for tapping in. I love y'all. God bless. Have a good one.